Hello and welcome back everybody, Blue Dwarf here, and welcome to another episode of TerraFirmaPunk. As you can see, we have come out of winter and it is now springtime, so we're going to start off today's episode by doing a little bit of farming, so let's get straight into it. So we're going to start off by feeding our pigs. As you can see, we've got them up to about the 50-60ish%. That's because baby animals gain familiarity much faster than wild animals or just adult animals in general. Yeah, that took what 90 grain. That can't be right. Got 17 piglets here. Did I eat some of it? Maybe. I think I may have accidentally eaten some of it. But yeah, that's all of them familiarized for today. And stick that back in there for the second. We have our bushes over here. Got some strawberry bushes from loot bags. You might remember we planted all of these crops during winter because they are hardy crops. So we've already got those in. But it is, in fact, now springtime, so we are going to start planting a lot of our seeds now. And as you can see, I just went past it, all the nutrients in the soil have regenerated over winter. So we can pretty much plant anything anywhere we want to. So we, obviously with these guys consuming like a whole bunch of grain every single day, we want a fair amount of grains. So I think we'll be starting off by planting our rye, because rye is the grain that we have the least amount of. And we also will want these for making alcohols, which will be useful for all sorts of different things. Relight some of these torches just to give us working light. So these are all of the nutrient A crops that we have. And yeah, we can pretty much plant these anywhere, as I was saying. So we're going to plant all of our tomatoes over here, because we have a absolute bunch of them. We had 40 seeds. Right, so that's all of our tomatoes down. We're also now going to go and plant a bunch of our wheat seeds. So wheat is also the grain we have not a huge amount of. Obviously, as you can see from just the number of seeds that we have for rice, we have almost completely full up on rice actually. So less worried about planting so much rice this season. Obviously with our cellar, especially as it's got ice in it now, we don't have to worry so much about running out of food, but it's nice to know that we have a way of keeping our stocks up. Though having said that, after we at the end of this TerraFirmaCraft year, we'll probably not need to grow any more food for a fair amount of time, and spend a lot of time working on more automation and some of the later quests in the quest book that we can get onto, which will be a lot of fun. We can maybe even expand our real estate portfolio, and build probably build like a place for all of our machines that we're going to build, because we will be making a fair number of machines in the near future. And then we can see what else we'll be building buildings for. Might build a lumberjack shack or something. Probably do that and have a proper place for doing our charcoal rather than just a pit in the dirt pit. We're going to plant our jute seeds that we have to get us more jute fibers, which is what we were using for making the ropes. I thought we had more than 4 of these. maybe we lost some during winter and didn't pick them up in time before they despawned. But we'll have to we'll have to make do with what we've got. But at the same time, now that it's spring, from spring to late summer, you can go around the world and find wild crops that will respawn. Not from, as in, at the beginning of the game, you saw that we were collecting a bunch of wild crops, but those actually naturally respawn in the world, which is something quite impressive in the whole TerraFirmaCraft mod. We've got this sugarcane. Apparently it's too cold for the sugarcane yet because it's a very tropical plant. I think we're just going to leave our rice for a second and see how much crop space we have. I think we will end up planting some rice with the number of seeds that we have, but we'll carry on planting the ones that we've got here. Got some potatoes. I was looking at the wiki and comparing it to what seeds that we have, and we have actually got all of the seeds in TerraFirmaCraft except for one plant, which is the rutabaga, or rutabaga. Not quite sure how it's properly supposed to be pronounced. Yeah, it's still too cold for that. It is currently 6 degrees, and given that sugarcane grows in tropical sub-Saharan areas, it's not surprising that 6 degrees is probably a bit cold for it. Yes, I think we'll soon have our entire farmland planted up with all of our seeds down. But it's good that we expanded this area at the end of last growing season, because we would probably not have enough space with just what we had here, because what we had here was completely full up, as in every single thing here was planted up with the number of crops and seeds that we had. But yes, so this is looking great. Have these guys ticked over yet? No. So you can feed these guys once every 24 hours in game. Anyway, so I'll plant those sugarcane seeds whenever it becomes warm enough. But for now, that's all the planting we'll be able to do. Our trees are doing well. Some of them are even blossoming in preparation for some fruit. You can't quite see it from here, but I planted another tree down, a green apple tree that we got from killing one of the tree ents. So yes, we'll also have green apples next time. Just put the seeds back in there. It's our sort of seeds. This is our seeds chest. So you got some more jute fiber. You can use this to create more ropes, which is useful for controlling the animals, and is also used in a number of crafting recipes. So yeah, I'll be back in a moment with what we're doing next. So over the last few episodes, we've been doing a lot of work towards something called the bloomery. Now, in between episodes, I did a little bit of work on that, made up a bunch more bronze and turned those into sheets and then double sheets. So we actually now have 7 bronze double sheets. Now, whilst doing that, I also discovered a little bit of a glitch with these, these oak shelving and ingots, in that they have been there so far this entire episode, and they're still completely warm. But I'm going to now show you the process of turning these ingots from how they are right now, which is currently liquid, all the way into a double sheet. So we're going to drop those orange ones on the ground for a second, because these ones are about to become solid. And then we chuck these in here, weld them, turn them into a sheet by upsetting them until this point, and then hitting them 3 times. Then we can chuck that sheet on the floor, wait for these to become ingots, and then we do the same again. There we go, ingot and ingot, chuck them in, weld them together, work them into a sheet, and then we pick up both sheets and weld them together. And that's how we will now have our 8 sheets, once we cool this one down, for making our bloomery. So something else that I did a little bit of between episodes was I mined a bunch of the blocks from that house, because I really like the dolomite bricks, which is the same bricks we've got here. But we can now use these bricks, which are normally made with dolomite, which has been chiseled, and mortar, which you get from putting sand in the lime mortar, the same lime mortar that we used to make the hides that we've been doing up there. So this is a structure that you have to that you use to process iron, but you have to load ores into it from the top. So we're going to just make it up here. We'll just make it like this. Just mine that block in the middle. So this needs to be, technically speaking, this is the smallest sized bloomery you can make. But you can go up to, I think it's 3 blocks tall. I need to really finish off the fencing here now. Otherwise these guys are going to come through. So we're just going to grab some more walls from in here. This is sort of all of our what's it called, building type blocks. So we can apparently not do that in time. There we go. And we're still going to have to deal with these jumping ones for the moment. And any that manage to spawn in any areas that are not completely lit up properly. Yes, so this is our bloomery. The way we use this is we need to go up here and we'll grab our charcoal, which we've got in our forge, and then we need to grab some iron ore that that we found over there, the rich iron ore. So we need to grab, it's 24 pieces, so 1.5 stacks. And as this is the rich iron ore, this will give us the biggest possible size of iron bloom, because we stack 8 pieces of charcoal up, and then close the door and go up here to the top. We drop in our 24 iron, and we don't actually have enough charcoal. So I'm going to go and make some more charcoal, and then I'll be right back. Right, so none of our willow trees have grown yet, so I actually just ended up nicking the charcoal from the climb up here, from the other forge that we aren't currently, well, the other half of the forge. So we've just been using this one for the moment, but I had some charcoal in there to possibly make a second one. But we haven't been using it, so I've just nicked the charcoal out of that for the moment. So yeah, we chuck all of that in, and then so we chucked in 24 pieces of iron ore, and then we chuck in an equal number of 24 pieces of charcoal. And then what we do is we come back down to the bottom, and we have that closed, and we light it with a fire starter, and then that has to burn for 15 hours, as you can see at the top. So we're going to leave that to burn, and in the meantime we will get on with some other maintenance jobs. Be back in a second. Right, so looking at the quests, we completed making the bloomery, so we can grab 4 more charcoal, and we also made the bloomery. Apparently we have some company. So that's all done. Anyway, we can claim an enchanted book, which I think is what we're going to do. And the next thing we need to do is make a refined iron bloom, which now that we've got some good stuff, some more berry bushes. But now that this bloomery has finished, we can open this and mine out the bloom, and we get a raw iron bloom of 840 840 units. So let's close. Oh, and we need to run away from this guy because we currently don't have any weapons. Anyway, so what we need to do with that guy is we'll heat him up on the forge in here. And then what we can do is we can refine it, and then we split it. And that's how we then get raw iron. Anyway, we are just currently making some more charcoal. Should be done soon, and then we will be able to refine our iron. So I've made up another 61 charcoal, which we can chuck in here now. We're also going to chuck some of these tools that, well, these two have have 0 durability left each, and I don't really use javelins, so I'm just going to melt them down and just have them as ingots. At the very least, because they're not really the best. They're not the best javelins either. So we can use the bellows to heat this up faster. And I'll be back when we get some of this stuff up to workable temperatures. Right, so our iron bloom has just reached the point where it says we can work it. And we're going to also take out our... so we're just going to leave those in there for a second because they can melt, they'll be caught by the ceramic molds, and it doesn't cost any more fuel as far as I'm aware to have those in there. So take the raw iron bloom out, put it in here, and refine it. So we can try to upset it all the way, and then we need to hit it. Shrink it, and we need to heat it back up again. Whilst that's doing that, we'll take these out of here, and for now we'll probably just put them on here, and wait for this to heat back up again. Right, so we've got this again. Going back to refine it. Try this whole shrinking again. Because I'm messing up which one it was. Right, so we've got refined bloom, and then we split it. And then we just bend it. And then we get a whole bunch of these, which we can then turn into, we can refine into iron ingots, if I can get this to work. But we need to heat these back up again. Just chuck the rest of these off onto the ground for a second. Take it and process it again. And we get iron ingots. Now, what we're going to do with these is we are going to, once I get 2 of them, 2 iron ingots, we'll just work this one first. There we go. So now that we've got these iron ingots, we can need to heat this one up more. We are going to weld them together so that we can make an iron anvil, because we can't do anything. Oh, I'm out of flux. Worst time to run out of flux. I think limestone works. Damn it, there's a hammer. Hammer. Right, hammer, flux. Chuck these back in there. Chuck some, not that one. Are these hot enough yet? Can work. Can weld. Chuck these in here. Weld them together, and then we can use these double ingots for making an anvil. So I'm going to work the rest of these into double ingots, and then I'll be back in a second. Right, so I've made 4 of these double ingots. And we're trying to use the bellows as much as possible to heat up this refined iron bloom, because it's only 40 units. We're going to just melt it, because we can't refine it on the anvil. So it turns into a what's it called? It turns into a unshaped raw iron ingot in the cast. And then we can just stick that over here with our molten metals, as it were, and we can cool these guys off, and we are a bit over halfway towards making ourselves an iron anvil. So obviously, that's annoying, I meant to put it in there, not wasted by putting it in here. So we're going to need to produce a lot more iron, so we're going to also be needing more of that charcoal, given that each set of iron takes 24 plus 8, so 32 32 charcoal for each 8.4 ingots, a 840 units. So we're going to be using a lot of charcoal for making these, but then we'll be able to make an iron anvil and then an iron tools and all sorts of different things that will unlock for us. Anyway, so that's all we've got time for today, guys. We've finished off the bloomery and gotten some more iron going. The next iron load has just finished, and we'll be able to make that into an anvil. But thank you everybody for watching. Have a nice day. Bye bye.